Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the fourth installment of what I like to call What I Read Wednesdays, where I take a look at some of the most interesting books that I can find and analyze them. In today's episode, we're going to be diving back into the Tess Holiday book, Take Up Space, Y'all, which is a book that she wrote for teens and tweens to teach them how to deal with body image. In the last episode, Tess Holiday taught us that when we go to the gym, people might be judging us for sweating or having the wrong outfit, which I didn't think was a very helpful tip to give to teens and tweens. What other type of great advice can we find in this book? Stick around to find out. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache. Yes, where we last left off, movement should make you feel good from the inside out, and it's extremely important to listen to yourself. Before you toss on your gym shorts, ask yourself if you feel energetic, stiff, in need of a stretch, bored, or restless. If you answer yes to any of those, you might need to move. Oh, I thought she was going to say if you answer yes to any of those, you might need to take a rest. You're overthinking it. Movement is movement, period. You don't have to put in 2 hours of heart-pounding powerlifting at the gym filled with Studley Steves. Dude, I don't have to go hang out with all the Studley Steves? Oh, thank God. I can't stand them. They're almost as bad as the Shredded Sallies. That is such an old reference. That's from that one personal trainer that I used to cover way back in the day. Laura Giaci, or something like that. At the end of this chapter that we left off on, she was actually encouraging people to go to the gym. What if you try a machine at the gym and use it wrong? What if your muscles are smaller than other people's and you can only use baby weights? Ack! Remove half of the mental barrier by going with a friend or working out solo in your room. YouTube exists for a reason, yes it does. And you should all watch my videos constantly. Tell yourself you don't have to be perfect either. No one is born knowing how to bench press. Even Jacked Jasmine had to learn once upon a time. Even Jacked Jasmine? Alright, and there's a quiz in here. I don't like these quizzes. I find them to be fairly annoying. I don't want to do quizzes in a book. I don't want to read the quiz out loud to you guys either. Here's another little back and forth between Kelly and Tess. Kelly, hey Tess, want to talk about the reason you started a movement against the beauty industry? Tess, of course, literally what I breathe for. Okay. Kelly, yes, so tell me, how did the whole F your beauty standards hashtag on Instagram come to be? Tess, well, I was on Tumblr one day posting stuff, and per usual, people were coming out from underneath their rocks to say mean things about me. They were living under rocks? These frickin' scorpions? They were telling me what I should and shouldn't wear in public, saying I should cover up my arms, telling me not to wear a bathing suit, blah blah blah. Kelly, gross. Tess, right. So that day I was just sick of it. I went to bed because I was over it. I felt like, you know what? F this. I'm tired of everyone telling me what I can and can't wear and what I should and shouldn't do. I couldn't post one photo without people trying to make me feel bad for existing. So I went on Instagram. That's where I always go when people are trying to make me feel bad for existing. Kelly, as one does. Yeah, right? That's where we go. Tess, haha, yes. I posted something like, if you're tired of everyone dictating how you should look, what you should wear, etc., post a picture of yourself wearing something that makes you feel good or scares you, and use the hashtag F your beauty standards. I posted a picture, and before I knew it, it took off. People of all sizes started posting photos and videos of themselves, and it never stopped. It became an entire movement online, and I started the Instagram handle with the same name to make sure people had a safe place to go. Now it's being shared more than 4 million times on Instagram alone. Kelly, that's a ton. So it changed how people presented themselves online? Yep, it sure did. It changed the entire internet. Dude, the internet has literally never even been the same since the F your beauty standards hashtag came to be. Like, I can't go anywhere online without seeing that. You really started a movement, Tess. Is sarcasm lame, or is that a legitimate form of humor? Oh, it's like, oh, sorry. I'll stop doing that. Kelly, that's a ton. So it changed how people presented themselves online? Tess, it did. It empowered people. They felt like they could put on something they wouldn't normally wear because other people were doing it too. It gave them the power to feel good about how they wanted to show up in the world. I mean, it's just silly to tell other people what they're allowed to wear, and this showed it. Okay, so people saw that you uploaded a photo of yourself to the F Your Beauty Standards hashtag, and they also felt inspired to stop worrying about what society wanted them to wear. They're like, wait, if you can do this, I can do this. And then everybody started uploading to the hashtag. Wow. I didn't know that I could wear whatever I wanted until Tess Holiday showed me. I can finally be me. Thank you, Tess. Kelly, that's amazing, Tess. Tess, it really is. I'm shocked. I never expected it to go viral. Kelly, how did you feel about it once it did? Tess, less alone. I needed community and solidarity. Living in a body that's outside of average can be really, really hard, and it made me and millions of other people feel better to know that we weren't the only ones feeling that way, or, I don't know, exasperated by the current beauty climate. The current beauty climate. It fueled me to be less afraid about just existing in the space I live in. Yeah, the current beauty climate is a real bastard. You know that? It's got me all caught up in its grips and stuff too, you know what I mean? Like, how can I be a fashionista? How can I be fashionable? What the hell is a bodice? You know what I mean? The wildflowers of humanity. It's bizarre that there are even beauty standards at all, because people are super different from each other. I don't think the term beauty standards is accurate because everybody's into different stuff. There's not really one thing that everybody is consistently into. Well, I mean, except for mustaches. We can all agree that across the board, no matter who you are, this is doing it for you. Shut up. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. I was just screwing around. Think about it. There are 195 nations on Earth. Each one is stuffed full of people with different abilities, skin colors, body sizes, ethnicities, hair types, and facial features. If you take skin tone alone and mix just that one feature with another, like body size, you're looking at kabillions of different ways a person could look. Kabillions? K-A-B-I-L-L-I-O-N-S. Kabillions. Kaboom! Think about how boring it would be if you went into a flower shop and all they carried were daisies. What's beautiful to one country, one culture, or even one person could be the complete opposite of what's beautiful to another. Okay, so she's just saying what I said. There's not really one set beauty standard. Everybody's into different stuff. So it makes no sense when companies shove beauty into a teeny tiny box, because not everyone is gonna fit in there. Take the modeling business, for instance. You'd think that companies would want to use models that represent real life people to show how clothes or makeup or whatever might look on them. But wildly enough, that isn't true most of the time. Let's look at some numbers, shall we? Well, I don't own a clothing company, unfortunately, but I think that they just want to make their clothes look cool, and therefore they choose models that they think will do that, right? I don't think modeling was ever about representing the average person. They seem to be using people with a certain look to try to make their clothes look a certain way. All right, here's a little breakdown of modeling percentages. Males make up 49.6% of the population, but they are 22.3% of fashion models. Women wearing a size 14 or above are 67% of the population, but only 2% in all media. Hold on, there's a little 1 next to that 2% in all media. Let's go down and see what that's referencing. Isabel Angel and Ethan Oberman, closing the representation gap for plus-size women. The takeaway. Okay, so that's from basically an article. That's where you got that figure from, that 2% in all media are wearing a size 14 or above, and 1% walked in 2023 New York Fashion Week. People with disabilities are 24% of the population, but make up just 0.02% of models. Women who are 5'9" or taller make up only 3.4% of the population, but they make up 95% of models. Yeah, it's not fair, and it's not for everyone, right? Like, a lot of people aren't tall enough to be a model, You don't really see them complaining in the same way that Tess Holiday constantly complains that they can't get modeling work or whatever, right? Many people have accepted that they'll never be a model because of their height. Our weight is something that we could actually work on and change though, unlike people's height. Most models aren't an accurate representation of the average human, and newsflash, neither are some social media influencers who use excessive filters or Photoshop to put themselves in the exact same advertising boxes. Okay, like I said, I don't think models are supposed to represent the average person. Back in my day, model meant somebody that was very attractive that we would like to put our clothes on to make them look good. You know what I mean? You know how people are superficial and they like attractive people and they will buy things from attractive people? Yeah, that. If we don't like that, we should just be angry at the superficiality of humans, right? Why does this keep working? I don't know, because everybody's a shallow idiot. Take it up with them. So we're basically just talking about beauty standards. Beauty standards across history. Cute crop tops and jogger pants in the 21st century would probably cause a pilgrim in the 17th century to stroke out. Oh yeah, I would love to see somebody from today with a BBL, super tight gym clothes, all the stuff that people wear to the gym these days, go back into the 17th century. To the pilgrim times, you show up with your Botox forehead, lip injections, BBL, super tight pants. You're like, hey, how's it going, Christopher Columbus? He immediately pulls out the musket. Like, he's like, what the hell? Yeah, the stuff that people do to their face and to their appearance these days, if you were to transport one of those people back into the 1700s, people would probably think that that wasn't even a human. They'd be like, what is this? Thine lips are gigantic, madam. Thine forehead is smooth and glassy. What has become of thee? That's what they would say. Beauty and body standards have changed over the years, people, in major ways. Check this out. 1960s. Makeup and facial hair, opaque eyeshadow, winged eyeliner, pale lipstick, clean-shaved or long, goatees, soul patches. I like some of those old-timey 60s styles, like the weird little haircut where it comes down and goes like that. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, dude. Like, sometimes it looks okay. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. I like the pointy bras. Can we bring back the pointy bra? Whatever happened to that? It shapes the boob into a nice torpedo. I'm sorry. Bouffants. Pixie cuts. Bouffant. The hell's a bouffant? Either way, I don't have time for that. Let's continue. I don't have time for that. I'm just sitting here in front of a camera. I got things to do right after this. No, I actually do. Did you know different countries have had their own sets of beauty rules throughout history? Beauty rules! During the Heian period in Japan, some people blackened their teeth with a tincture. In the late 1700s in France, people powdered their skin white, then painted blue lines on top to look veiny. They did? What? From ancient history to today, the Bodhi tribe in southern Ethiopia, the man with the biggest belly is the most attractive. Okay. Well, in ancient times, bigger bodies were more attractive because it proved that you had access to food, which a lot of people didn't have back then. So I don't know if the beauty standards from back during starving times really apply to today. I'm gonna go ahead and skim through this bad boy, skip the boring stuff. Okay, we're done then. I'm just kidding. It's not boring. It's wonderful. Let's continue. Why beauty standards are goofy. If you're muscular like the 2020s tell you to be, I love how we're just blaming certain body standards on certain times. Like, the 2020s really wanted you to be a bodybuilder. Nobody cared about lifting weights before that. The 2000s had such toxic beauty standards, but not before that. Since most of you were born after the year 2000, you'll never understand what life was like before then. So the 2000s will be your earliest reference point. In the 80s, everybody loved to be obese. But in the 2000s, everybody was skinny. If you're muscular like the 2020s tell you to be, you would not be considered ideal if you teleported to the 1960s. I don't know about that. I think bodybuilders were still a thing in the 60s and people were still lifting weights and people still appreciated it. I don't know when Arnold Schwarzenegger came out, but he was in the bodybuilding scene a very long time ago, perhaps around that time. If you're into baggy sweatpants and sweatshirts, but suddenly they go out of style tomorrow because a social media influencer tells you that baggy stuff is over, you loser, you might as well just call in sick to life and hang out in your room for the foreseeable future because you can't win no matter what you do. Or you could just ignore these people and do what you want. I still wear baggy pants like we were in the 90s, and I don't care what anybody else is doing. I literally don't care if the social media influencer tells me that's out of style now. For you it is. For me, no, I do what I want. Beauty is relative, friends, and your body doesn't have to be aesthetic anyway. Trying to meet a standard of beauty that changes based on where and when you live is like putting on a blindfold, throwing a dart, and assuming you'll hit the bullseye. Good luck to you and everyone else's eyeballs near the target. Okay. What makes someone truly beautiful? We all know there are faces that get smiled at by babies more than others, that there are people who are just cute, though we might not be able to say why exactly. Some people are born with a more attractive face. That's why. And for the most part, there's nothing that we can do about that, and we just have to accept it. It's one of the uncomfortable truths in life. If you're not born smoking hot, I guess you might have to develop your personality in other ways. Bummer. Damn it, I wanted to get by on my looks. But we also know people with looks delivered by pixie dust and starlight who we wouldn't want to be alone with for 3 seconds because their insides don't match their outsides. Yeah, I've met people that were attractive, but they were not nice at all, and it made them very unattractive. So after we were done messing around, I told him, I don't want to see you ever again. Get the hell out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, she goes on to talk about beauty standards are different, blah, 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 wherever you go, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Quiz time. I don't want to do a quiz. All about Tess's tattoos. Oh boy, here we go. Let's go, Tess. Tell me about your tattoos, because I wonder what her tattoos would look like if she went through a dramatic body transformation. You know what I mean? Kelly, before we jump into part 2, can we just pause and talk about your tattoos? Hey, that kind of rhymed. Boris, before we jump into part 2, can we pause and talk about your tattoos? And then Tess was like, Boris, Kelly. Of course we could talk about my tattoos, Kelly. What the fuck you think I'm gonna do? That was really stupid, I'm sorry. It's one of the first things I noticed about you, outside of that gorgeous hair, of course. First, how many do you even have? I tried to count and couldn't. Tess, I have no idea. I mean, what counts as a tattoo? Do you count the sleeve on my arm as one, or all of them individually? If we counted each little design, there would be hundreds. Yeah, a lot of people get sleeves full of just random ass little symbols and stuff. They just want a sleeve of ink, and they don't really care about any of the symbols in it or anything. Kelly, which was the first? Tess, a fairy on my shoulder in watercolor pink, purple, green, and blue. I don't care. Hold on, I'm gonna move on. I care about your tattoos, I'm sorry. Oh boy, here we go. Alright, now we've made it to part 2. Love your inner you. I love this picture so much. Labels can be positive. Labels can be negative. I hate the way this is worded, like it's trying to teach you. It really is directed at teens and tweens, and it's trying to give them lessons. Calling in. One way to handle it is to use the calling in technique. Someone labeled me the wrong way. Okay, but what about people like Kai? I skipped the story, but there was a story about a child named Kai who people used to refer to as Big Chonk, and it's talking about how this negative label impacted his life negatively. So we don't need to read all that. I just told you the whole thing. I just told you several pages worth of that story in 2 sentences. What do you do if someone else labels you as something like a troublemaker, a loser, a failure, fat, ugly, desperate? How do you change the labels someone else gives you? Who cares what other people call you? Is this serious? Calling in. One way to handle it is to use the calling in technique. It's similar to calling out someone, but that's done in front of other people right when bad stuff is going down. A kid from your class calls you fat at lunch, which makes you mad. You pull out your phone, start recording, and tell them to knock it off loudly. You tell everyone what they did and demand an apology. Calling them out in that moment or interrupting their bad behavior and stopping further harm to yourself can be effective. Or, and we don't have to tell you this, it can make the situation worse.
much worse.
Sometimes people double down when they're publicly dragged. When you call them out, they go even lower to save face. Not only do they keep calling you fat, but now they toss breadsticks at you. They stuff half-eaten food in your locker. They get an entire group of people to oink at you in the hallway. And pretty soon you're mad at yourself for saying anything at all. What else can you do when someone labels you and you don't like it? Hide during lunch? Ignore it and pretend you're not miserable? Get your friend Kai to throw them in the trash? If your goal is to get someone to stop, maybe don't choose violence and try this instead. 7 call-in steps. 1. Ask to speak to them later. Talking to them once your emotions have simmered down will make it easier for you to talk and hopefully for them to listen. 2. Go one-on-one. They might listen better if they don't have to show off for other people. 3. Thank them for agreeing to talk to you and tell them they're nice for doing so. Giving them a positive label like nice helps them see themselves that way, which can nudge them in the direction of being a better listener. 4. Get curious. Ask them why they used that label on you and whether they were trying to be hurtful. Why would we do this? If somebody is calling you names and all this stuff, why would you try to sit down with them and be like, why did you call me that name? You seem like a very nice person. Why are you doing this? Just realize that that person is a jerk and ignore them. It's very foolish to try to change other people's perceptions of you. When you change your perception of yourself and now you're confident in yourself, other people's perceptions of you don't matter anymore. I don't care what labels you give me because I don't care about you or what you think about anything. I care about me. That is the correct response. You don't ask somebody, why did you call me that name? Why do you think that about me? How can I change your perception of me? Who cares what this moron thinks of you? They might have been attempting to joke around and it came off badly, or they were just parroting what kids or even parents have said to them. It might help you realize that they're not just a nasty human who loves being a jerk. Number 5, tell them how the label makes you feel. Use I language when you do it so you don't put them on the defensive. Say, I feel upset when you call me blank, instead of, you're cruel when you call me blank. Okay, so we should let our bullies know that the words that they used to try to upset us actually worked and did upset us, so that they can continue using these words. Okay, we should tell them exactly which words are the most effective in hurting us, all right? Number 6, ask them to stop. Say, I know you have a choice, but I'd like you to think about my feelings and please stop calling me that. Will you do that for me? Putting them in a position to say yes or no gives them some power back, which helps them feel better about being told they messed up. Right. 7, accept their apology. There's not going to be an apology. I can assure you, if you go up to other kids and you're like, what you said back there really hurt me. I wish you would stop. They're just going to double down, typically. You think you're going to go up to a bully and be like, what you said to me back there really hurt. And they're going to be like, wait, what? Really? That hurt you back there? That's not what I intended at all. I'm sorry. That's what you think is going to happen. Obviously, I'm not saying people are right for bullying people, but I don't think this is the way to handle a bully. Number 7, accept their apology. If they apologize, assume the best and accept it. It'll make you seem less threatening, which means they're less likely to attack you again. If they don't, you've said your piece and can move forward anyway. Now, we're 100% aware that this is not what you see on social media. People behave badly, then they get dragged off the internet. We're talking about lasting change here, friends. Protecting yourself by preserving someone else's dignity. There are definitely times when a public call-out is in order. When someone is violent or when someone is repeatedly bullying you, in those cases you have to stop the harm the second it happens. But a one-time error in judgment is probably not the time to pull out your phone and start recording. Here's why. It might make the immediate situation unravel or get violent. It might not create lasting change. It might actually make you feel worse because, while they might deserve a good public dragging, it usually doesn't feel good to humiliate someone else. Okay, well, if you did pull out your phone and start recording someone when they were making fun of you, I don't know if they would take that as a public dragging or if they would be humiliated by that. A final word on labels. It's important to remember all this before putting labels on other people too. 2 cautions. Be careful about making assumptions based on someone else's label. Alright, here's another one of these quizzes. I hate these, honestly. I don't want to be quizzed on the stuff that you just taught me. Alright, and we're gonna wrap up the book right there. Next time we're gonna pick up on chapter 8, I'm okay in this space. I definitely disagree with the idea that you should go to your bully and tell them how much their words are affecting you. By the way, did you know that all that stuff you told me back there actually hurt me?
It did? That's good, because that's what I was trying to do. Duh!
Oh, Punchy, this is what you come back for?
This book is awful. What are you talking about? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already, loser. Otherwise, Punchy's gonna get ya!
Oh, Punchy, it's good to have you back. So what do you think of the parts of the book that I just read? Leave a comment below. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.